Boom. All right, ladies and gentlemen, for all you fitness enthusiasts out there trying to get that summer bod going, we got a great episode for you guys. And if you're a parent and you're wondering, how do I get back into shape? Woo, tune in. Let's get this one started. Here we go.
Shut up and sit down.
Look, a business can give you everything you want in life. Prestige, wealth, freedom. It can also take everything away from you. This show is for those who are willing to take that risk. These are the real life stories of entrepreneurs. But before we start, I have one small favor to ask. Please leave a comment. It can be advice, critiques, tips, feedback, or share this with someone because your engagement is the most valuable and most powerful form of social currency. So thank you, and welcome to another episode of Business Bros! All right, business bros, let's do this. Look, our guests today are remarkable individuals who have successfully navigated the challenges of balancing their career and family responsibilities. Now, one of them is not only a professional bodybuilder, but they're both devoted parents. As you can see, we even got the baby in the picture. With a wealth of insight to share some maintaining balances and managing time effectively and finding support systems that enable them to thrive in both their professional and personal lives. Our guest today is sure to inspire and motivate you. Moreover, they're pioneers in embracing fitness innovation and staying ahead of the ever-changing fitness landscape. They're going to shed some light on their experiences with cutting-edge technologies, virtual training platforms, and the integration of wellness into your routines. So get ready to gain some practical tips, inspiration from our special guests. And let's welcome to the show, Ty and Tatiana Debique. All right, I've had two people on the show, but I don't know. Is that minor of the year 18? Are they 18 years of age or older, or are the parents giving them consent to be on the show?
One day he will be.
Yeah, we got to check his ID.
We got to check his ID. All right, look, fellas, ladies and gentlemen, fitness is probably one of the most important things that we need to have in our life. I heard the saying before that a healthy man wants a million things in life. A sick man only wants one. And part of that is maintaining your health. I was running about 6 miles a day until about 2 weeks ago. And now I got a little twinge in my back, and I took 2 weeks off, and now I'm getting back in the groove of things. But in those 2 weeks where I'm not really physically moving, I feel my own body kind of dwindling down. I feel my mindset kind of dwindling down. I feel like I had to sweat to get back in the groove of things. And it's just part of who I am, is that daily workout. But that's not everybody's situation. There's a lot of people who want to get into this space. Tell me a little bit about your background and how do you stay motivated to keep going, especially on those days where, I should say, most of those days where you don't actually feel like doing it, but you know you got to.
Yeah. I'll kick off just a little bit on that particular subject, because honestly, I think what you just described is exactly what the challenge is all about. Like, for the most part, when you develop and cultivate a good habit, right, a good fitness habit, you don't even really have to think about it, right? And so when you're for some reason something happens in life, whether it's an injury or you have a new baby or something like that, and there's a breakdown in the way that you would typically go out and work out, you really feel it, right? Like it's a really big change for you. So the biggest trick to staying fit and having a fit lifestyle is developing fit habits. And so a big part of what we try to do is to help instill and ingrain those habits in our clients. So when they're done with us, or if they choose to move on, they've pretty much already established the habits, and they already have the formula for success.
That formula, I'll give you an example for me. So normally during the week, I teach high school, and so I'm up kind of early. I actually get up around 4:20 in the morning, and that's when I start my fitness stuff, so I can get it done before the day starts. Couple reasons. One, there's nobody there to bother me. At that hour, there's no one bugging me, trying to wake me up, getting me to do anything. And second, like, I'm done. I get it done at the beginning of the day. The rest of the day is mine to conquer however I can. I'm allowed to get my mindset in order. But when the alarm goes off, I don't always feel like doing it. And there's times, almost all the time, where I'm like, oh, do I want to get up today? And the response in my head is always, this is what I do. This is who I am, right? And you kind of you hinted on that, developing that habit and making it part of who you are. That's how you kind of get there. So let me ask you this. There's people who want to get started, and I always tell them the first 2-3 weeks are going to suck, but you got to push through it. How do you get them to start?
I'll let Tatiana really answer this question. In our business, I primarily run our business operations. She takes care of clients, but I think it all starts with her interview, and she has that first conversation with them, and she gets them in touch with their why. I'll let her kind of take over.
Yes, one of the questions that I ask is, why do you want to get fit? And for most women, I coach primarily women, and for most of them are mothers. Some of them are young mothers who just had babies, just like me. Others are mothers whose kids went off to college and they gained some time to themselves. So that's another reason why they're like, I've been giving for 18 years, I've been giving or serving everybody else, as they would say, but now it's time to get myself back together. But so there are different whys, and then once they find that why, we talk about our program, and once they get started, some of them are intimidated to step into the gym. So I have many times I'll have a client who sends me a text message and say, "Hey, I've been sitting in the parking lot of the gym for the last 40 minutes." I immediately call them and I say, "Hey, it's time to go in." And you can go in, just look around, walk out. You don't even have to work out. Just go in. And then the next day they go in, they're more familiar. And I tell them, you are going to be lost and you're going to feel like all eyes are on you. But in truth, nobody's really looking at you. Most of them are probably on their phone, but they're really about themselves, right? We go in, we go do exercises, looking in the mirror, and on to the next machine. But a lot of us are intimidated to go in, especially if you've been out of the gym for so long.
Yeah, that's some great advice, right? And I was going to ask you that, but you did it. You said it perfectly there. That person who's sitting in the parking lot, you don't have to do anything. Just go inside for a little bit. It's getting yourself in a position where you're familiar, where you're comfortable, and then you'll start working out. I remember when I decided to get back in the groove of things, I was at the gym and I was like, you know what? When I was younger, I could do some pull-ups, and I went to go to the pull-up bar and I tried it and I was like, nope, this is not working. This is not working for me. But then I saw this machine. You can put your knees on it. It helps you kind of lift yourself up. And it took me a while to jump on that thing and actually do it for the exact reason that you're talking about. I was like, well, look, people are going to look at me. There's this guy on this machine and he can't even do a pull-up and he's using all the resistance, all this stuff that is just in my own head that I created. Before long, I was able to do a couple, and then I was doing pull-ups on my own, and now I got a pull-up bar at home. I'm able to hit that pretty well. But it's that familiarity that we get going to build the habit so that we start doing that. What about people who face some sort of injury? Let's go with that one, for example. I'm always of the mindset, modify and adapt. You're not going to have to do the same thing over and over again, but you can modify the things that you're working with. If you have people who haven't been working out for a while and they're going to get back into it, maybe they have sore ankles and sore knees and sore backs and these things that they need to kind of overcome. What are some things that they can do or ways that they can modify workouts so that they don't feel they're missing anything, but at the same time, they're not going to hurt themselves anymore either?
So when it's the first time in a long time for them to go, especially after an injury, you never want to go like full force, beast mode, because what's going to happen is you're going to re-injure yourself, and then you're out for another 2 weeks to a month to several months. So what you want to do is to slowly get into the routine. Again, don't go and don't go and do 6 to 8 exercises. Start with 3 and start with lightweight. Stretching is very important. Or warming up. First of all, get on the cardio machine, warm up there first, get your blood going, and then some stretches, and then you can start your exercising. And also, I highly recommend, if you're recovering from injury, you might want to check with your primary physician and a physical therapist, because if you think you healed up, maybe you're not sore while you're not working out, but as soon as you hit that same muscle that you injured, you might re-injure yourself again.
Mm.
You
And
know,
that's
I was going to piggyback on that. I think from your first comment, I think that it's important to realize that when you have these mental blocks, that there's no single person in the gym that isn't there to improve, right? So we're nobody in there is perfect. Everybody's trying to get better, and usually that helps. And then I think a lot of what we do is about having a customized program for our clients, right? And so I think that when our clients go in and they share with us what injuries and what challenges they've had, Tatiana modifies the level of the exercises that they have when they first start training. So it's not like we're going to ask you to go in there and perform like, Terrell Owens or something, on the first day that you go into the gym. But instead, we make sure that it's appropriate for what it is that you need to do. And I always try to remember that, look, no single workout is going to help you, is going to propel you to your goal, right? It's an accumulation. It's the consistency of you doing it over and over again over time that really has the impact. So that's why just walking in that first day is so important. And maybe walking in and staying for 5 minutes is the second day, and maybe walking in and getting on the treadmill for 10 minutes the third day. But over time, as you incrementally increase the amount of time and the amount of work that you do, and you get comfortable with being in the gym, then it becomes a habit, and then the magic happens.
all of a sudden you're going to show up to the gym and be like, what's up? And saying hi to everybody who's
Everybody
there.
knows
You
you.
got those regular bases. Yeah, exactly.
Familiar
It's like,
faces, yes.
Yep.
yeah. It's like the show Cheers, right? Now all of a sudden you show up at the gym and everybody knows your name. So it's all good. It's all good.
Yep.
Well, let me ask you about parenting and kind of keeping the schedule. Because part of what you were saying there was, look, it's about the consistency. It's about being here and doing it on a regular basis. That's really going to achieve your results over a long time. And honestly, that's really what this whole thing is about. It's having lasting health and fitness strategies and habits in place for the long haul, not for the short end. But in life, we become parents, and there's things that we have responsibilities and things that we have to do. How do you prioritize self-care amidst like a busy schedule, and how do you help your clients kind of have that? I told you mine was I wake up at the butt crack of dawn when nobody's out there, but that's not for everybody, right?
I understand, but if I were to share with you what our day looks like, it doesn't sound very different from what you just said, right? So our son here, who's who wants to participate in the podcast, he gets up at like the butt crack of dawn. He gets up at 4:30, right? He wakes us up, and he wants to be fed and changed and everything else. And we've just come to the conclusion that I guess that's when our day needs to start. So this morning, for example, right, like every morning, Tatiana got up and went to the gym, right? And I stayed back here with the troops, right? So like I said, earlier when we were talking privately, I've got a 17-year-old, and he actually gets up and goes to the gym at 4:30 in the morning, amazingly. I never had that much motivation when I was that age, but I guess sometimes what you do in life rubs off on your kids in ways that you don't expect. But we've got a 3-year-old and we've got our 3-month-old, and so I stayed home to watch the kids, and we've got a puppy as well. We got a dog as well to take care of.
You got your hands full, man.
Worked out. She came back, right? Walked the dog, took over with the kids, and I took off to the gym. And so we generally tag team on a lot of things as it relates to fitness. And I think that every parent, we don't have all the solutions, right? We're not perfect, but we find solutions that just kind of make sense for us. We go to a gym where they offer really great childcare, right? And so our 3-year-old, actually, she's part of our motivation sometimes. Like if we don't go early in the morning for some reason, she's like, we going to the gym today, right? Because she wants to go, get in the jungle gym and climb and do all the things that they do in the childcare center. So, all those things add up. All those things help.
Yeah, it's definitely a community effort at some point, right? You have to have the support that's around. The weird thing of what happened in 2020, we had COVID pop up, and I know gyms got really hit hard because they were forced to shut down, close doors. But it also opened up a lot of opportunities where people can have routines and coaching done either, social distance apart at the time. But after that, it kind of became more of a trend. It's like, look, we don't need to actually go to a gym. There's these other types of routines that we can do. Tell me about how you've been helping people now that we have a virtual platform versus having to go to a physical gym. How does that work?
I love that you teed that up for us. We started kind of that whole virtual coaching and using apps to coach our clients back in 2015, right? And at the time, we felt like we were almost pulling teeth, right? We're trying to convince people, hey, this could work. We'll tell you exactly what to do. We'll tell you exactly what to eat, how to prepare it. We'll talk to you on the phone. We'll send you text messages. We'll tell you you're doing a good job when you log all your stuff and send us your photos. And not a lot of people were buying back in 2015. Over time, it picked up and picked up and picked up. But when COVID hit, it was like, all of a sudden we were the rage, right? And you pair that with wearable devices, right? Like, whether it's the new Whoops or the Aura or, Fitbits or the Apple Watches. And all of a sudden we're tracking all of your activity. We know exactly what you're doing, right? We're monitoring. We can cheer you on along the way as you hit different milestones. We tell you exactly what exercises to do. You could videotape yourself and send it to us. We give you recipes for what to eat and how to prepare it. And so all of a sudden, leveraging the technology has become a really big deal. I think just like, in the regular workplace, a lot of people are working from home and communicating at work over video chat. We do a ton of stuff over video chat as well.
It makes a big difference, the ability for you to be mobile and flexible, but you're also compiling a bunch of data on your clients, right? I mean, you mentioned all the different types of equipment that we carry. I know my phone has this like health ring on it, and it's like, hey, you haven't completed your ring today. What's going on?
That's right.
Something as simple as that. One little reminder is like, okay, you know what? I need to go downstairs. I need to put in my at least 100 push-ups for the day. Right now, that's where I'm at. I was all the way up to like 240 a day, but right now I'm trying to rework on this arm here. So just like you said earlier, like same routine, just really adapted a little bit lower to try to get to that point. But it's cool to be able to track this stuff. And I kind of want to go back a little bit to what you're saying. In 2015, you started implementing a lot of the technology, but it took a while for the public to really adopt and wrap their heads around taking advantage of it. Walk me through that hockey stick when things did change and you saw a lot of your peers in the gym industry hurting, and yet you guys all of a sudden were taking off. What was that like?
Well, for us, it was like the old elephants to the keyhole, man. It was like, we're kind of trudging along and we were kind of at our normal clip, with 35, 40 clients. And then all of a sudden, everybody signing up. So it was kind of pandemonium-ish for us. And our daughter was really young at the time too. So our situation wasn't very different. Yeah. Just we only had one instead of two. But we just adapted, right? And to it was just a lot of people. All of a sudden we became the rage. Now we look on, you can't get on social media without seeing an online coach. And there are tons of people coaching people on how to start online coaching businesses, right? But we've been at it for a while. We're really comfortable with it. We do a really good job for our clients, and we focus on iterating, right? So we just want to get a little bit better every day. And so we feel like we have a little bit of an edge because we've been doing it so much longer than everybody else.
Let's talk about those little iterations, the little goals, right? Because I think a lot of times when people want to start working out, they have this idea in their head. Andrew Tate, for example, one of the lines that I heard him say that I thought was actually really interesting. Somebody asked him, what's the quickest way to get a six pack? And he was like, what are you talking about? There's no quick way. It requires work. The reason why you find it so awesome and attractive is because the person who has them worked their butt off to get them. There is no easy way. So when people look at, hey, summer's around the corner and I want to have my beach body and it's like 2 weeks away, that doesn't seem like a realistic goal, and it kind of sets things up for failure. How do you help clients set realistic goals, realistic milestones that not only they can attain, but kind of fuel them to keep going?
I'll let Tatiana mostly answer this, but I always say that Tatiana is really good with tough love. Usually more love than tough, but you still get the tough love. Like, she tells you what you need to hear in order for you to make the progress that you need to make. So
I don't make unrealistic promises to my potential clients. So if somebody calls me and say, hey, I need to be vacation ready for 2 weeks. When I see their pictures, I'm like, maybe 3 months, And so I'll tell them, look, you can start now. You can lose a few pounds. You will definitely feel better. However, when you come back from your vacation, let's set some realistic goals. And instead of just talking about it, you need to implement. You need to start doing what you need to be doing so that way you're ready for next summer vacation.
Yeah.
And a lot of people will just complain about, talk about, oh, I need to lose weight. I need to do this. I need to do that. So yes, we feel sorry for them. At the same time, they need to start doing, because you can wish, but those wishes are not going to come true unless you put some time and work into it.
Yeah. And she's really good about making sure people break down their goals into bite-sized chunks, right? And celebrate those little mini milestones along the way, right? So a big part of what we do in the app is as we capture your progress photos and videos, and you make that, you've lost that extra 5 pounds, you've lost an additional 10 pounds, right? Is that we really celebrate those things with our clients.
We send those pictures back to you, but now instead of, just one picture, you get 2 photos 2 months apart, and the change is huge. And they're like, what?
Yeah, you see yourself every day. You don't realize how big the change is. But I think part of the psychology of helping people to stay in the game is showing them that they're actually making really consistent, visible progress, even though they may not realize it. And sometimes the scale lies to you too, right? So your body composition might change, but your weight is not, the weight progress isn't as much as you may have liked. But when you look at those side by sides, man, those pictures, they definitely are worth 1,000 words.
Yes.
Either that or you got to go buy a whole new wardrobe because it's not fitting into your pants no more. Those things are falling down, right?
In a good way, yes.
In a good way, absolutely. or in a naughty way if you get really physically fit and all of a sudden that's what you're looking for. So it works either way. Let me ask you about some specific rituals or habits that maybe would make a significant impact in a lot of your clientele's overall well-being. I'll give you an example. Like for me, drinking water all day has made a significant impact. And I don't really like, I can say that I didn't really like drinking water, but ice water. Like I fill this thing with ice and have water in it all the time. I drink that all day long. And I find it's helped me personally more than just being hydrated. I mean, literally my answer to almost every time somebody says they have an ailment, I was literally at the dentist just a little while ago. And the lady was like, oh man, I'm having a good day. I just kind of have a headache. And my answer is go drink more water. Like you're dehydrated, you go drink more water. Oh, my muscles, go drink more water. Like almost everything is go drink more water. And I think it's made a big impact for me as far as my rituals and habits. Are there any specific ones that you kind of give to your clients so that they can have more of a significant impact if they just continuously did these things?
So you must have been watching Tatiana's videos because she talks about drinking more water all the time, right? Like we have his and hers water bottles. Even the baby's got it. Everybody's drinking right? But you know what? I think probably the biggest habit that can make a difference in your weight loss and in your fitness over the long term is meal prep. Like to me, putting in the forethought for exactly what your menu is going to look like on a day-to-day basis, preparing those meals and those healthy snacks so that when you're hungry and you're done drinking water, right, you've got, sliced cucumbers, or you've got carrots, or you've got something healthy as a snack that's your go-to. And then you have your meals specifically planned. And then Tatiana, for several days. And then Tatiana has like some specific tips that she gives her clients for when they happen to go to a restaurant with friends or family on what you can eat. And I think if you implement those small changes into the way that you approach, just your personal physical fitness on a day-to-day basis, I think that makes all the difference in the world.
So let me ask you about diets and dieting, because here is really what we're talking about here. And I just feel like dieting has such a negative stigma to it. And I've tried a lot of different things. So I've tried things where you eat like 6 small meals per day. Right now, my big thing, and mainly because it's just the way I tend to operate, I really only eat when I'm hungry. And it turned into what I've learned is called intermittent fasting. I really only eat like one meal in this like particular time frame in my day. And then sometimes I'll have dinner because I feel guilty because the wife made dinner and I have to eat dinner. But
Right.
for the most part, I'm not really hungry at that time. So most of my stuff is just happens to be intermittent fasting, but I don't really watch what I eat, right? That's kind of the downside. I eat what I want, but I just always thought that the 6 miles a day, the extra gym workout at night, like I've built up enough currency that I can kind of spend it where I want. What
Right.
do you tell your clients when it comes to dieting and exercising and meal prepping so that it kind of works not only for them, but for their lifestyle?
It's interesting you asked that because earlier today I was having a discussion with one of the trainers at our gym, and he was talking about, if you read, there's a ton of literature out about fasting in particular, right? And so he was saying, like people who fast and do the one meal a day, he's like, man, that's so bad for you. It slows down your metabolism so much. And I'm like, you're right. But Tatiana and I, we do a modified form of intermittent fasting, primarily because it reduces the number of calories that you eat, right? So if you reduce the window when you actually eat, in our case, to 8 hours a day, right? We squeeze 4 meals into 8 hours. We eat a high protein diet, right? We do our meal prep. And so it's reflective of the types of meals that we want our clients to have and eat. But the way we execute it is over an 8-hour period of time. For our clients who are training for a competition, it's different, right? They're eating way more meals. They're eating it more consistently, and they're eating it over a longer period of time. But
to maintain the muscle mass.
Yeah, so a big part of it's about maintaining muscle mass and sending off that trigger in your brain to continue to break down the protein in your stomach as opposed to the protein in your muscles on your body, right? It's the science behind it. And you want to have that protein about every 3 hours. So a lot of what we do is science-based, and those are the types of recommendations that we make in terms of making better decisions for what you eat and making decisions around fasting in our case and in your case over time.
And not only the type of diet that you follow in or which way you follow a diet. What's important is to make sure that the clients are enjoying while they're doing it. So when we build meal plans, I call them meal plans, not really diet, right? Healthy habits. I'll make sure that the food that's in that meal plan is something that they enjoy eating. Because if I give them something and they really don't like it, they're less likely to stick to it. So you want the results come from consistency. So you want to be consistent. And when I give them the meal plan that they really enjoy eating, I get messages all the time. Oh, I love this one. Thank you so much. And then 2 weeks later, nope, I don't want anything changed because I really enjoy it,
We also do, for one of the challenges that people have in their meal plans and in dieting is food variety. And so every month we come out with what we call bikini fit food recipes, right? And so we come out with a series of recipes, 15 different recipes. It actually even includes some desserts, but they're all healthier types of meals, right? The healthier versions of things that you might normally eat. And so over time, right, if you work with us, you accumulate, all these recipes that you could execute on over time and stay on your diet, and you figure out the ones that you really love. We have some friends that love the turkey burgers, and they're like, "Oh man, when they come to visit us for dinner, are we going to have those turkey burgers?" And we're like, "No, we're thinking about something else." But they love those, so they're always asking about it. But that's generally how we approach it.
Let me ask you one more, because this is one of those myths that I've heard. I don't know if it's true or not. I want to kind of get your opinion on it. People don't always switch over their diets 100%. They always kind of find a way. If I can cut out one thing, like if I can make one change that would make a drastic impact. I already used the water, so I'm gonna give you the example that I heard, and I thought it was pretty interesting. If you're gonna be bad, eat your bad, don't drink your bad. So rather than grabbing a Slurpee full of sugar, maybe have your little piece of candy or something. I'm not saying either of those are good, but if you're gonna choose to be bad, do you eat your bad or do you drink your bad?
Man, you pick your poison here. So I would say probably not drinking, because drinking, you end up drinking a lot of calories in a smoothie. Like those big old smoothies that people get.
Yeah.
Yeah, but when you eat, when you actually chew food, your body sends signals when you're getting close to being full. So when the hormones start being activated, and I tell you, okay, stop eating.
Yeah.
Because how many times you drink, let's say, a smoothie, right? And you finish that thing. Doesn't matter what size it is.
Yep. You just keep on drinking. Yeah, I think your advice is probably correct, right? So if you're gonna pick a poison, pick the one that you eat. At the very least, right? Like, it's more work in terms of metabolizing food that you chew, right? If it's just the act of chewing or your body producing stomach acids and digesting it, all that is work that your body has to do in order to get the calories out of it anyway. And so that's probably a better way to go. But I think our advice would be, right, pack healthy snacks, right? Like, when we advocate strongly for finding healthy alternatives to things that you really love. And if you could insert those, if you're going to do something bad, or if you're going to have a snack in between, probably is more appropriate to say, snack on something that's not going to do a lot of harm.
I love that. Because otherwise I was going to say, you heard that? Tatiana said to eat my cheesecake, not drink my cheesecake. Just kidding. Just kidding.
You were hoping for that.
Oh, don't do that. Don't do it.
No. She did not say that. She did not say that. They said use a healthy snack. And that's exactly the way. That's why I love fruit, man. Fruit's like the healthy snack. It's already got the sweets that you need. It's delicious. If you don't want to eat fruit, we'll switch over to some, well, cucumber is technically still a fruit. But, you know, there we go. Some nice crunch, some veggies or something like that. All right, guys, we're running low on time here. If people want to reach out to you, if they want to find out more about getting their body bikini ready, getting themselves in something that is long lasting and not a quick fix, how can they do that?
Well, I think you've done us the favor of putting our website scrolling across the bottom of the screen. So probably the best way to reach us is at www.bikiniprepcoach.com, or they could write directly to Tatiana at her email address, which is Tatiana at bikiniprepcoach.com, and you've got that ready to go as well too. So thank you so much.
Of course. All right, ladies and gentlemen, look, this is the deal. You have one body, you have one life, and it's up to you to maintain it and keep it going. And I know life gets in the way. I have 2 kids of my own. I have a spouse of my own. And there's a lot of people who want your attention every single day. But you got to give yourself the time to do it for you. The better you feel, the more energy you have, the better you're going to be able to help other people. And literally, you can do that. Just go to www.bikiniprepcoach.com, bikiniprepcoach.com. Start your journey. Find out if having a coach is the thing that you need to hold you accountable. You don't even have to show up to the same gym. They got you covered on a virtual status. So make sure you guys check it out, bikiniprepcoach.com. Ty, Tatiana, thank you very much for being on the show today. Ladies and gentlemen, we'll catch you guys on the next one. Peace.
Thank you.
And we're out. It's over. Go home. Is your business in need of marketing? Try starting a podcast. But not just any podcast. Podcast like a pro. We can show you how to take your business from being invisible to becoming a brand people trust. Go to www.businessbros.biz to